I still remember the knock. Or, no, not a knock. A full-on banging on our cabin door at 10 p.m. You ever hear someone pound on wood so hard it sounds like a drum roll before a fight? That's what it felt like. One second I was enjoying grilled trout and a cold beer with my wife on the porch. The next, I was staring down a woman in khakis with a clipboard and two guys dressed like they got kicked out of mall security school. I wasn't expecting trouble that weekend. We were 30 miles off the nearest paved road, nestled deep in the San Juan Mountains, the kind of place where bears are more likely to show up than people. But that night, Karen found us. And oh boy, she didn't just knock on the wrong door. She picked the wrong couple at the wrong cabin in the wrong damn jurisdiction. Now let me rewind a bit. My name's Daniel. I work remote in tech, so when Friday hits, I'm out. I'd promised my wife, Lena, a full unplugged weekend. No screens, no emails, no calls. Just the two of us, our dog Bruno, the sin of pine, and our two-story timber cabin, the one my grandfather built in the 70s. It leans a little to the left. The outhouse sings when the wind blows, but it's home. Our peace. We arrived late Thursday. Unloaded the truck, lit the stove, cracked open beers. Lena's a U.S. Marshal. Yeah, that kind. But off-duty, you'd never guess. Jeans, hoodie, hair tied up in a bandana. You'd think she teaches yoga in the city or runs a dog rescue. But trust me, when trouble knocks, she answers. And trouble came rolling up in a golf cart. No joke. Next morning, sun barely up. This cart comes bouncing up our private trail like it owns the place, kicking up dirt and pine needles. Out steps a woman, visor, clipboard, a smile as fake as the HOA badge she'd printed at home. Hi, I'm Karen Milford, Community Coordinator for Ridge Pines HOA, she chirps. I blinked. This isn't Ridge Pines, I said. Oh, it is now, she said, and handed me a piece of paper. We've recently expanded jurisdiction. Your cabin falls within Phase 3 of Ridge Pines Scenic Preservation Initiative. I laughed. Actually laughed. Ma'am, this land's privately deeded, surveyed, and registered. No HOA reaches out here. Karen frowned like I'd told her the sun wasn't real. You'll be receiving a welcome packet and invoice soon, she snapped, marching back to her cart. You'll regret being uncooperative. Lena raised an eyebrow and said quietly, she doesn't know who she's dealing with. The next morning, we found signs nailed to trees, laminated notices saying unauthorized dwelling, subject to immediate removal. Lena pulled one off, held it up and muttered. She thinks she's on an episode of Yellowstone. I called the county sheriff. No HOA jurisdiction in the area. They told us to document everything, don't escalate. But Karen? She escalated. That night, the banging. I opened the door to see Karen again, this time flanked by two oversized dudes in dollar store tactical gear. They had no badges, just name tags that read Community Response. Karen said they were there to enforce HOA protocol. I stared at them. This is private land. You're trespassing. One of the guys stepped forward, puffing his chest. Step aside, sir. Inspection's mandatory. And that's when Lena stepped into the light. Calm. Cold. She unzipped her hoodie, flipped open her badge, and said, U.S. Marshal. You've got 5 seconds to get off this property before this becomes a federal matter. You should have seen their faces. One of them literally took a step back. Karen? She opened her mouth, then closed it like her brain short-circuited. She finally screeched, this is harassment. Lena didn't move. Impersonating law enforcement, trespassing, threatening a federal officer. Think carefully about your next step. They turned and left. Fast. But that wasn't the end. Next morning, I checked our trail cams. The white SUV from earlier had come by again. Slow roll past the gate, then a quick U-turn. Same one Karen had arrived in. Lena started building a file, timestamps, photos, incident logs. I started digging into this Ridge Pines HOA. What I found was a joke, a website slapped together with stock photos and typos. Rules that looked like they were stolen from a condo board in Florida, and a map that showed our land inside their Phase 3. I pulled the original land survey. No such expansion was ever filed with the county. Karen made it all up. She was trying to claim land that wasn't hers, using fear, fake documents, and intimidation. I printed everything. Lena called a contact in the DOJ who specialized in real estate fraud. Her tone was serious when she hung up. This isn't just Karen playing Queen of the Woods. Someone's funding this. That same day, a tow truck showed up. Yeah, a damn tow truck crawling up our mountain path, followed by the white SUV. Karen popped out like a queen bee, clipboard raised. Your structure is in violation. We're here to remove it. Lena didn't say a word. She hit record on her phone and stepped down from the porch. I stood in front of the truck. The driver, a kid, maybe 25, looked nervous. I said, "Touch that cabin, and you're liable for felony damage to private property." He looked at Karen. She yelled, "Proceed." Lena stepped forward. "I'm a federal officer. This land is not under HOA jurisdiction. One scratch and I'll cuff you before you finish your coffee." That was all it took. The driver backed out. Karen screamed. But no one followed her. That night, she came back, this time alone. And this time, she cut our power. She knew where the generator was. Cut the line clean. Ripped down the camera. Except the camera had internal memory. We caught her face in the flashlight beam. 5 seconds of video. Enough to ruin her life. Lena sent it to her DOJ contact and 2 county officials. The case went federal overnight. 2 days later, Karen staged a protest at our gate. Signs. Chants. She brought half a dozen Ridge Pines residents who probably had no clue what they'd been roped into. I held up the county zoning record. This land is private. You're trespassing. Karen screamed. You forged that. Lena raised her badge again. No, you forged yours. And then, her own security guy stepped forward. The short one. The same guy from our porch. He said, "I was hired under the table. No license. No paperwork. She paid me to look scary and shut people up." Karen's face dropped. It was over. The crowd turned on her in minutes. Questions flew. Accusations. Someone shouted, "I paid $2,000 in fake HOA fees." Another yelled, "You said my house was non-compliant." And then, the county zoning officers, invited by Lena, stepped forward. They handed Karen a citation. Civil violations. Criminal referrals pending. Karen tried to run, not literally, just in that entitled, storming off sort of way. But the image that stuck with me was her standing in the parking lot after, yelling into her phone, completely alone. No clipboard, no power, no followers left. We drove home that night in silence, the good kind. The kind that comes after justice. And look, I'm not telling this story because we wanted a fight. We just wanted peace, a weekend in the mountains with grilled fish, cold beer, and each other. But when someone like Karen tries to steal your land, rewrite the rules, and intimidate people into silence, sometimes you gotta push back. Sometimes you gotta let a U.S. Marshal do what she does best. So yeah, if this story ticked you off, or made you laugh, or reminded you of someone in your neighborhood who thinks they are the HOA, drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Karen just crazy or part of something bigger? And do you think people like her ever learn, or just find another mountain to conquer? Let me know. I'll be reading.